Hola, and welcome back to Coffee and Chaos. If you have yet not subscribed, is that proper English? I don't know.
If you have not yet.
If you have, wait, what?
If you have not yet.
If you have not yet subscribed, please go to YouTube and do so.
Now. Do it now. Right now.
Yes, right this very moment. If you're listening.
Starting the podcast right now. I hope you remember everything that you said before.
I'm Alina, your host, for those of you that are just listening. And if you've been listening and you haven't subscribed, it doesn't cost you anything. I promise. They don't need your social security number. They don't need a credit card.
But if you want a Cash App, I mean, it's in my bio. No, I'm kidding.
I don't have Cash App. What is Cash App? Anyways, okay, that's a whole nother tangent thing.
So introduce him so I can put
Yeah,
the camera
I am.
on.
Tony's back. Trina.
Hi.
You gave him the hot seat.
I know. We had a
He
rock, paper,
politely
scissors.
asked, but I said I needed cushion for my pushing over here.
Well, that couch though, Solomon, how are you?
I'm good.
That
I'm
couch
good.
is actually comfortable. Like I sat and I'm telling you, one
I
day
think
I'm
I
gonna
could take
sit
a
over
nap
there.
on
Yeah, I'm gonna.
I don't
Go
think
sit over
we shouldn't.
Nah. Yeah, you'd have to put something over. You don't know who's.
I actually had a guy not do his podcast here because he didn't like the color of the couch.
Why don't you just
And
get
I'm
a
like,
cover?
Well,
Plastic
why didn't he
cover
just get a
when we were
cover?
kids.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Oh,
podcast?
yeah.
Yes. Well, I think he would have ended up having other issues if something that little was an issue.
You could have
Probably.
used these
Mexican.
things and put it over the couch. I mean,
Yeah.
They're called blankets.
Yeah. Blankets,
Yeah.
Mm.
Say it.
I offer them to everybody. They politely decline them.
Cojivas?
But
Yeah, but I didn't say it properly, so I'm going to get yelled at and laughed at for not saying it. I know. My Splanglish is hilarious. Solomon, I don't know if you had a chance because I know you're so busy. Have you been seeing what I've been posting a lot on my personal Instagram?
I saw something this morning.
Okay,
So
and on
about
my-
somebody missing.
Yeah,
So-
so I've posted on TikTok, on Coffee and Chaos, my personal Instagram. I've been asking everybody to please share. So a childhood friend has a daughter who is missing, and she's been missing since July 15th, and her name is Jeanie Chavez. Look how gorgeous she is. Like, she is absolutely beautiful.
Those eyebrows are to kill for.
Oh,
Yeah, they're on point.
I was trying to do my eyebrows today. Yeah, you have to have an act for makeup, and obviously she does, and it doesn't even look like she needs a lot. She's beautiful. She has been missing since July 15th from San Antonio, Texas. She was born and raised in San Pedro, California. She has two daughters. Both her parents, I've been conversing with the mom, but both her parents are really, really besides themselves. And I'm going to throw this out there now before anybody tries to come back and say anything. We do know that she is an addict. Her mom has not tried to hide that at all. She was mixed up with some not so good people.
Just hanging around with the wrong people.
How long has she been an addict? You know?
I don't want to confirm because I don't know. I know it's been a few years, but I don't know.
Okay, so relatively long.
Yeah, and it is pills, and it's but she's very much I guess you would call it functioning. Very much
Or to keep a job and
take care of her kids and all of that stuff. And Annie now has, thank God, Annie is her mother, who now has the two daughters, and they're here in California. So they were not around at the time of her going missing, thank God. But we're trying to talk about it and post about it as much as possible because her mom feels like my daughter isn't just an addict. My daughter is missing.
Well, I think it's also important to state that shortly before she was missing, her mom did mention that her daughter had reached out to her and said that she wanted to go to rehab. So obviously there was some light there, and she was getting ready to make some changes.
oh, that's
So
good.
I think it's quick. It's so easy for anybody that doesn't know them or her story to say like, oh, she was this, that, or the other, but it doesn't matter. She's missing. She's somebody's daughter. She's somebody's mother. She's somebody's sister.
Right.
Like, we're
She's-
just trying to
I
spread
think
the
that's the
word.
power of social media nowadays.
Mhm.
Like just putting the word out there. You know what I mean? Even on TikTok, just by reposting your post
Mhm.
and reposting your posts and everything and adding it to my story and whatnot, just to get the word out there. I mean,
People don't believe in the power of social media. A lot of people. But I was posting it on TikTok and I was tagging everybody from San Antonio, Texas to Corpus Christi to regular Texas. And one of the Mexican news channels in them inboxed me and said, "Hey, can we have your permission to," and of course I asked Annie, "Can we have your permission to show what you did?" And so they went on there and they started posting it everywhere.
Yeah.
I guess there's more, because I was kind of upset, like, why wasn't the American or the English speaking channels posting this? And it was more of the Mexican channels. But Annie says it's because in Texas there's more
Hispanic. Yeah. Yeah.
or Latinos, as we like to call
Yeah.
them.
Okay.
I'm just
My
teasing.
bad.
Yeah. Jeanie did go to detox, and from detox to going into a rehab, that's where she was missing. So she spoke to her mom, and that's one thing we want to clarify is people say, well, she could be homeless. Maybe she's just one of those girls that doesn't want to be found.
And just wandered off. Yeah.
How old was she, you said?
She's in her 30s, early
Okay.
30s.
All right. Yeah. The cops
Still-
like to, a lot of times
still a
assume
baby.
that,
Yeah.
they just went off on their own somewhere.
Yeah, because I had a friend inbox me and say, hey, are you sure I said, no, absolutely not. She spoke to her mom without fail. She was always in constant contact with, I think it's her grandpa, her dad, her mom. Like, she's never gone this long without speaking to somebody in the family.
Now,
Mainly
does she
her
live
mother.
with her? Does she live with her parents?
No, she lives at, so Annie's dad, which would be the grandpa, moved to Texas a few years ago.
Yeah.
And even now he's in Texas and he's a huge part of Texas. He's a pastor in the prisons in Texas. He teaches anger management classes. So he's also out there trying to spread the word. So with him doing what he's doing out there, he's getting the word out there also. So he moved to Texas and she went out there. She's been out there for 5 years. So she's mainly lived over here. She went out there about 5 years ago and again, got caught up with the wrong people doing the wrong things. And so between leaving detox and was supposed to go to rehab is where she ended up missing.
Got it.
Now, there is a suspect. The last known person with her is Jonathan Perez, this man right here. There is video of him taking her to the tow company to go, because her car got impounded. So to go get stuff out of her car, and the cops went and saw on the video that he did take her, that as of the day that she's missing, and she went in and got some stuff out of the car. The stuff that she got out of the car, he ended up mailing to the mom. So why would you mail her that stuff if
She went and got it out the car herself for her.
It was like her diary, some pictures of the kids, stuff like that. She went out of the car and got it, and then he ended up mailing it to her.
Was there did he say
Yeah,
why?
was there like a note or anything
Yeah.
along
So
with
he
it?
called her and said, ma'am, your daughter took off. I don't know where she's at. I don't know where she's been. Let me mail you her stuff. And I think he expected Annie to say, oh, okay, thank you, and just leave it at that. Absolutely not. She's like, this doesn't add up. And so then Jeannie's phone was off. She can't get a hold of her.
No location.
No location. He changed his number or got a new phone and called her from this new phone. His old phone is gone, off, whatever. So then when he calls her from this new phone, she's like, this doesn't make sense. I can't talk to my daughter. I can't find my daughter. You're sending me her stuff. You have a new number. Like, none of it makes sense. I know you've
too many moving parts.
Yeah. You've been physically abusive with her. Like, it all adds up, right? So where is my child?
Now, was this her boyfriend? This guy?
Yes.
Oh,
And
okay.
but it's only been her boyfriend for I think they met maybe sometimes the end of May and June.
So
Okay.
roughly about 2 months.
Yes. And that's his card that he goes to the church and he hands out. Now he does have ties with in Texas with people that do human trafficking and sex trafficking.
Oh, wow.
So that is a big worry.
How do you have ties with people like that?
Well, he has 2 strikes, so he is a felon.
Okay.
And at first, when you're posting his picture, it's kind of like, oh, it's a little scary, right? Like, what could happen? What are the things? What if he comes back and, goes after Annie and her family? But at this point, like Annie
Which one is
said,
the most recent picture?
Yeah.
we don't know that.
Okay.
That looks like a driver's license.
I think you're right.
Hmm.
But again, he says, at this
Because
point,
I work for the DMV.
she's like, It's either that or it's a
Oh.
mugshot.
If that's the case,
You were one of
we need to
those
talk
people?
after.
Yeah.
Okay.
Registration due.
What did you say, Solomon?
You were one of those people? You worked at the DMV?
Negative.
No, she was
it's
just
joking.
joking.
Oh, I was going to say.
I wear many hats, but that's not.
Coffee and Chaos is going to have one less person on the team.
Hey, at least she's not a Fed.
Oh.
Oh no.
Uh-oh.
Not a
yeah, we don't talk to
Fed.
feds or
That's
ops.
So Jonathan Perez is his name.
Yes.
Where are you, Jonathan?
Apparently, he's in Chicago.
I mean, if you didn't do anything
Wait,
wrong,
wait,
then wouldn't
wait.
you
What
be
did you hear
helping
is he's
her?
in Chicago? How do you know he's...
So she got from a reliable source. So let me backtrack.
Okay.
Once she reported to the police that, hey, my daughter's been missing, I can't get a hold of her, I can't this or that, they went and talked to him. They kind of followed him for a few days. The day that they didn't follow him, they get a phone call the next day from his mom saying, hey, Jonathan stole my car and he's gone.
And when you say they didn't follow him, are you saying that they said, okay, he's no longer a suspect, or they just took the day off?
I'm assuming they took a day off
Okay.
because they still been taking a day off since then. Like, because to them, again, just another addict, right? Like there's a lot of them missing. And like we said, a lot of them are in the homeless encampments, right?
See,
A lot
but
of them
that's where I feel like when you're dealing with, I guess you could say, an addict, families tend to like give up on them because it's like there's no hope. Where you have this mom or
No.
a friend of
Yeah,
yours
parents don't
who's like,
give up
no, I'm not
usually.
giving up on my kid. Like,
Yeah.
we're
Yeah.
an addict or not, I'm gonna still try and
Yeah.
figure out or fight to see.
Yeah.
So when
Where
I
my kid
went
is at.
and talked to Annie on Saturday and I did that little clip that I posted,
Mhm.
she made it clear, which we've all known, because even if you go on her social media years back,
Mhm.
there's pictures of her daughter,
Mhm.
the picture of her and the grandkids. Annie flies back and forth to
Yeah.
Texas to check on her daughter. Like there's no, that's what you're doing. That's your choice.
Mhm.
Leave me alone. Call me when you're sober. Absolutely not. Annie doesn't have that attitude.
Right.
It's like right, wrong, or indifferent. You're my child. I'm not going to give up on you.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, she's not there every day. She's not, giving her money every day, but she's checking on her. She went and got the kids like, hey, we got to figure this out. You got to do something. You got to get better, And then I think with her taking the kids and all that, it clicked in Jeannie's head. Okay, like I got to do this. I need
Yeah.
the kids back,
Yeah.
right? However, when you get mixed up with the wrong guy and
Or
men
people.
yeah, you're right, because a lot of women, unfortunately, are involved in human trafficking and sex trafficking too.
Yeah.
It's not just men like people assume. So when you get mixed up with the wrong people, you never know what someone's capable of. And unfortunately, not knowing where your daughter's been at since July 15th, why are you now on the run?
Yeah.
She did get a phone call from a reliable source that he is with family in Chicago.
Yeah.
But it all comes down to is, at the end of the day, are the cops doing in Texas what they should be doing or what we feel they should be doing?
Well,
And
before we go there, I wanted to ask you. So you went to her house, you said?
I went and saw Annie on Saturday morning.
How is she doing?
I will say that woman always looks good,
But
she's going through it.
I was going to say when he asked, like, I want to cry right now. Like, I couldn't imagine what she's going through.
Yeah.
She's already buried a child and we don't have to, like, her
Yeah.
baby passed away like years ago. And I was watching her and listening to her talk and
Mhm.
she was, I couldn't imagine. Like,
Yeah.
has her other children.
Yeah.
She's married. She has her grandkids.
Mhm.
Her daughter's missing. And like, how do you think,
Yeah.
Yeah.
she's trying to not cry in front of the grandkids, right?
You have to be strong. You have to be
Yeah.
that strong parent.
You have to be, but inside, like I talked to her this morning on the phone, like she's, like if you were to look at her, yeah, she's holding it all together.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But inside, one little, as women, Trina, we stub our toe or we stub our knee and then the whole world just fell apart, right?
Yeah.
I feel like that's going to be her. One thing's going to happen and it's just going to explode,
Yeah.
She's trying to be strong. She's trying to stay in there, but how can you?
Yeah, I think that's why it's important for your village to be there for you. And like, obviously she has a
She has a strong
Yeah.
village. She has a group of friends, her family.
Yeah.
Her husband too.
Yes. And this is where San Pedro, where like jokingly, Solomon, we joke about San Pedro, but
Right.
this is where it
They
is.
step in.
It is, because this is where Pedro does show you, like, we are family.
Yeah.
People that don't know her are spreading it. I have a friend, she inboxed me and said, Alina, I have a lot of family in Texas. Is this a real story? Like, what's
Yeah.
going on? I said, absolutely. She's like, I'm forwarding it. We're blasting it in Texas.
Yeah.
Like, you know, everybody is trying to do what they can. And the biggest thing is to make noise.
Yeah. And not just because it's so close to home, but we both have daughters that went to school with her. And it's, you just like put yourself in her shoes, and it's like, yeah, I don't even know
Couldn't
how.
imagine.
Yeah. I think that's why it's important for a time like this where everyone is there for her and her grandkids and her other kids, and as a family, as a community, like.
And this is the crazy part. So I grew up with Annie. We are the same age. Then my daughter and Jeanie grew up together.
Mhm.
And then your daughter, Selena, my son, Seth, and Annie's younger daughter, Bailey,
Yeah, they
all went to school together.
Oh wow.
Like, so I get like Pedro's Pedro, right? Wilmington's Wilmington, right? But those two towns, like,
Mhm.
we're like this. We're family. Like,
Yeah.
we're close. We're tight. Like, everybody knows everybody, right? And these are the times where that's good and it's important, because even like Tony, you don't know her, but you know me and I know
Right.
her, right? Your
Right.
sister is best friends with her, right? Like,
Right.
it's important for all of us, again, to just make the noise, not let it go away. And I hate to say this part, but the cops literally last night told her, stop making noise. Stop going and doing these interviews.
And see with
What was their
that
reasoning
saying
behind
with the
that?
cops saying that, like now I'm just thinking about that, even though we talked before about it. What makes you think the cops aren't trying to hide something?
Are things
Could be
different in
corrupt.
Texas?
I mean, they could be tied. They could be corrupt cops. They could be anything. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not saying all cops are that way,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
you
yeah.
know what I mean.
You don't
It-
know.
Yeah.
They told her she's making too much noise, that they can't do their part. And I'm like, what? Like, but it's because they're not doing their part. They haven't had a search warrant to go search his house. Like,
Has
if you-
anybody gotten in touch with the cops in Chicago to check and see
Nope.
if he's
And that's
actually
what
there?
she told them last night. Like,
Well, they're probably not going to just go based off of assumptions.
They-
well, they
Well,
have. She
they
has
can
a
make a
phone
call,
number
though.
associated with Chicago. She has an actual live phone number that's associated with Chicago.
Okay.
And she's like, here, call this. But they're not. And now maybe today they are. Who knows? But if she doesn't stop making noise, she's going to just be another addict lost, right? Just another missing girl in Texas. Because there's so many if you went and did, because I've been looking, it is Arizona and Texas. There's so many missing women. Yes, I know everyone's going to come at me and say, well, they want to be missing. They're on drugs. They're this. How do you know?
Yeah.
You have no idea where half these people, where they started, how they started. People don't wake up one day and say, oh, I want to be a drug addict, right? There's always, people have a life. People have a past. People started somewhere. And this girl started with a family that loves her, that's not going to give up. So she's not going to be quiet like the cops want her
Yeah.
to be. But there's so many things that they haven't done. Like, my biggest thing is, why haven't you searched his house?
Yeah.
That should have already been done. Easily, you're the last known person with her. You see it on the tape.
Yeah.
How come you can't get a warrant? Go search it.
Are they saying
Yeah.
so many days have to pass or anything like that?
Well, it's been
It's already going to be a month.
yeah, it's been past. It'll be a month and a week or something like that.
No, you
she's
said the
been missing.
15th, right?
Oh, wait. No.
July 15th. So
Oh, it's been over a
It's
month.
been
yeah,
over a
it's
month.
been. So that's what I'm saying. It's been like
That's why I'm asking.
a
I
month
don't
and
know.
like a
2
week.
months.
Solomon, are things done differently in Texas?
I mean, I don't know. But I would imagine all law enforcement has a means of,
Different protocol?
going after
Yeah.
people. And you do hear stories of sometimes them marginalizing certain groups, ethnic groups, to say, well, it's not as important. But yet there are certain other groups that seem to make the news. And you've got
Mhm.
people donating money and doing searches and putting all their time in and all of that. But, you wish that happened for every child.
You
or
do.
for every person like that.
I will say that Annie doesn't. They look like each other, but the hair coloring and the eye coloring is different.
Mhm.
And I admire Annie because the last time she was in Texas was a little bit over a week ago. She was literally knocking on crack houses, trap houses, whatever they're called today, going to homeless shelters where they weren't even going to talk to her, let her in, but she's met some people that were like trying to help her. She and the cops told her, you need to stop.
Maybe the cops are scared she'd get killed down there.
Maybe, or is it that she's going to find something out and make them look dumb because she found out before they did?
It could go either way, but I think me personally, I think more or less of her safety.
Yeah.
That's like going down Skid Row.
She goes by herself?
She went with some of Jeanie. This is another thing. If Jeanie was just another woman who wanted to be missing, right? Oh, I'm going to go party. My mom has my kids. I have nothing to worry about, right?
Yeah.
Her friends that she's with wouldn't be helping Annie. So her friends that she has there went with her to some places, but they were like, we're not getting out of the car. Like, we're going to stay in the car. And Annie was like, dear Lord, you better have my back right now. Like,
right.
And I get it, Trina, as mothers, and nothing against the fathers, but I always feel that women love differently because we carry those little munchkins. If that was me, I wouldn't stop.
Same here. I wouldn't stop either for either one of my kids.
And she obviously has to come back home. She has the babies. And
she had to.
I mean, if you see that video of the granddaughter talking to her mom, like if you don't watch that and feel compelled to like share or reach out or like whatever the case may be, like I also think that the reason why Annie does share Jeannie's past, whether it's good or bad, is because whether you're sharing something to help look for her or whatever the case is, people are always going to make assumptions. So she's putting it out there because why bring all that up and throw it in her face when she's trying to look for her daughter? Like that doesn't matter.
Solomon, can you play there's a part on the clip, the news clip, where she's having a cake fight with her child, and it is so beautiful that it's heartbreaking.
All right, I'll just hit play here.
Okay.
A local mother has been missing for weeks, and her family is fearing the worst. KENS 5's Mike Jimenez spoke with Jeanie Chavez's mother and her young daughter, who say they just want answers.
I try not thinking about it because it gets me sad.
Leah Garcia is the 10-year-old daughter of Jeanie Chavez. She talked with me about how her mother's disappearance has affected her.
I wake up all sweaty and I worried and stuff and I can't sleep.
Chavez has been missing since July 15th. She was last seen at her boyfriend's house on Agadir Avenue, north of downtown. Chavez's mother, Annie Salcido, who lives in California, says her daughter has been struggling with addiction.
She's an amazing person who lost her way a little bit.
Salcido says things were looking up for Jeanie, and she was about to get help by going into rehab.
She was kind of excited about it. She had a conversation with her daughter, who's 10, and basically just said, Mom, I'm done. I'm tired. I really want to go.
That was on July 15th. Salcido says the next day she got a text from Jeannie's boyfriend stating Jeanie didn't want to go to rehab, but was embarrassed to tell her.
My daughter's never been embarrassed enough to tell us anything. She doesn't have that kind of embarrassment where she's going to say, not tell us where she's going. She would have called us and told us that herself.
The part where they're having the cake fight, it shows the love, the beauty. She's not just quote unquote another addict, another lost child. And it's really sad because you wonder how many people that are out there that do want help and don't have, maybe the family financially can't help them, or maybe the parents are older and can't help them. You know what I mean?
They don't have a mom like Annie who's stepping in and sharing and reaching out and looking for her.
And also too, coming from a situation, dealing with somebody that was I guess you could say, quote unquote, a functioning addict. Seeing that and just seeing how somebody can keep going and just having to, I guess you say, depend on, I guess you say pills or whatever, just to keep going, just to function their day. And you could tell, it's not that type of person where it's just where they have to do their drugs or whatever just to actually function.
Yeah.
Where it could be I don't know her situation, but it could have been from her pregnancy where they made her take a narcotic just to freaking deal with the pain. Next thing you know, she ends
that's a lot of kids get addicted because of they've had surgery Like Seth had his molars taken out or his wisdom teeth taken out, and they gave me oxycodones for him.
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
Oh, we don't even want to have. We don't want.
And I said, oh, absolutely not. I took the bottle and I gave him, like, to this day, he's like, you didn't even give them to me. And I
You
gave
made
it.
him suffer.
No, I gave him like half.
Okay.
I wasn't
And then
giving
you did the sana probably.
and I was like, suck it up, Buttercup. But I wasn't going to risk because they're those pills and people don't realize they're so addicting so fast.
Yeah.
No, they are.
So
Yeah.
I wasn't, so these kids, and they eventually, as they get older, they, and we don't
They
know
come
how.
dependent on it,
Yes.
and
And we don't know
Having
how
to get off
or
of it
why.
is a strong process.
Yeah.
Seeing it and going and watching it, it's really, really tough. Like seeing that, and I'm like,
So from my own experience, and this, don't laugh at me, but I had surgery last
I
week,
have a laugh
and
button,
they
wait.
prescribed that medication, and right away I started getting like anxiety at the thought of like, because I've never taken it before, but I've seen all the documentaries or whatever about it. So I'm like, I'm not going to take it. I'm not going to take it. And, my husband's like, you need to take it. Nope, I'm not taking it. But I'm like struggling, right? I'm like, I'm not going to take it. And then,
you didn't even take Advil or ibuprofen.
no. So then I took it.
Okay.
Obviously after praying about it and like, look, girl, you need to relax. It's going to be fine. You're not going to become addicted. Just watch yourself. So I took it and I'm like laying there trying to like figure out like, what do you feel? Like, what do you, right? And literally I've come to the conclusion, like, you're literally numb.
Oh, yeah.
Like it numbed me to the point where I could get up and walk. I thought I was cool. I was walking real
You
good.
forget that you're in pain.
Yeah, real good.
Until it wears off.
But then the next day, I was like, the worst day ever. And then I thought, okay, yeah, I'm not gonna like.
Well,
I
that's
get
why
it.
a lot of people, when they take it, they don't realize what they're taking. And then, like you said, it numbs that stuff, right?
Yeah.
Not knowing if you tragically lost somebody, if whatever life is thrown at you, when people are on it, it makes you feel so numb that you want to stay numb. You don't want to deal with your inner feelings, right?
Well, that's
And a
where-
lot of people, that's how they become addicted, because let me take it and not think.
That's just
let
like
me not
alcoholism.
feel. Yes. And I feel like there's no judgment because life is hard.
Yeah.
And I don't ever want to judge somebody because I don't know what other people go through, because I know what I go through is enough, And I don't want to live your life because I could barely handle mine. And I think that somebody else's life is easier, better, until you really open their door and see what they're in. And then you're like, oh no, I'll stay over here and,
Right.
in my life.
Yeah.
My grass ain't so yellow after all.
Yes. And people don't realize that. Like, a lot of people think, like, Trina and I were laughing about, people saying like, oh, our rainbows. We have to keep our rainbows going, because if we really stopped and looked at a lot of things in our own personal lives, like, we could be sad every day, all day, right?
Yeah.
But we can't allow that. And then I look at it, I think, oh, wow, I thought, my life was hard at the moment, right? And then this happens to Annie. And I'm
Yeah.
like, oh my gosh, like, I
Yeah.
could never imagine. I don't want to imagine. My heart goes out to her. I've been praying for her. I know everyone's been praying for her.
Right.
There's zero judgment. Like, and she even said this morning, like, I just want her home.
Yeah.
At this point, if she was sold into human or sex trafficking, she goes, I know my daughter will fight till the end.
Mhm.
And it may not be a good outcome, because she's not going to just go, oh, here, take me,
Right.
because she is raised to be a fighter. She is, going to say this isn't right and scream and shout, and God knows what could happen to her.
Yeah.
That didn't happen, and he did something to her. She knows she fought to the very end. Because I asked her, I said, how do you feel? And she goes, I just feel like it's not going to be a good outcome. My daughter would not go this long without calling me,
Right.
Yeah.
without saying somehow, some way, I got to at least let my mom know that I'm safe.
Yeah.
And that's the part, the not knowing part, right?
Yeah.
And she even said, like, just tell me where she's at and I'll go get her.
Yeah.
I don't care what happens to you. And this guy had to have been the person to do something, whatever way you look at it.
Yeah.
He was the last person. He's
Well-
trying to tell her she left with some other guy.
I mean, if that's the case, be a man about it. Like, why did you disappear? And if you were her boyfriend or you were the last person to see her, why aren't you helping her look for her daughter?
Because he's already with another girl in Texas. I mean, in Texas and Chicago.
be with
He
whoever
took
you
another
wanna,
girl.
Be with whoever you want to be with. Like, if you have a heart, you're gonna help this woman and her family
But
look
it's just
for
gonna be
her
another
daughter.
pattern. It's something that's probably gonna happen.
Like, you're not
to that girl,
making
too.
yourself look innocent by leaving.
But if you're innocent, you'd be like, come in my house and look.
Yeah.
I did nothing wrong. She did leave with another guy. Like he has cameras inside his house and outside his house. Look at the cameras. You'll see her. She had left, right?
Well, if you said he's a felon, no, he's probably got some other stuff that he doesn't want them to take a close look at. So
Well, that ain't my problem. You
I
bad
know,
guy.
but you can understand why he probably.
No,
I mean,
yeah.
and how nice of his mom to call the police and say like, "Oh, my son stole my car." How convenient. Go
Yeah,
get your son that you raised, bring him back, and tell him to go do what's right. Because right is right and wrong is wrong. Where is Jeanie?
Damn, Trina, preach.
I'm thinking.
I agree.
If that was my daughter, like, what do you mean? You probably wouldn't have made it outside your
Man,
house.
he's Hispanic too.
Yeah, if that was,
you would not have made it outside your house.
but apparently
and I would
the
not have
family,
gone there by
he's
myself.
not a good guy, and the family's scared of him.
Okay.
So but why participate? Why let him stay there? Why? You know what happened to her too, though, as the
He
mom.
stole your car.
You know, they know what.
Sounds like something I saw on the news before with these people who stick up for don't make their kids accountable for the wrongs that they do. Like, no, that's not how it works.
Because you also know who your child is for the most part, right? Like
You raised
know.
Yeah.
him.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, you know. So and
I'm snitching on
You're
my kid.
just
I'll
as
tell you that
guilty.
right now. I'm
Yeah,
snitching on my kid.
I'm dropping you off.
Yeah, I'm gonna go get you.
You're not gonna make us look like that.
If this girl and Jeannie's tiny, so it's not like it would have been hard for him to do something with her. You know,
Yeah.
if as a mother in that house, you knew he stole your car, you know what he did to her.
So you need to start sharing all of the stuff that we've been sharing, not just in Texas, but in Chicago.
Mm-hmm. Hashtag, she doesn't know the city. She just has a phone number. She's passed it on to the police. But like she said, I just don't feel like they're doing anything.
Has she gone down there?
To Texas?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. She was just in Texas like a week ago. She's been, and so this last week and a half, I think that she's been home. Or 2 weeks that she's been home. She's been nonstop. What she also did, she told me this morning, is she's now hired a search and rescue.
Mm-hmm.
They're now searching and looking for her. They're going into homeless encampments. They're checking railroads, rivers. Like they're looking for her.
So private
again,
investigator or something like
yeah. So it's not a parent that is just going to stand by and say, I'm going to wait till either they discover her or she calls me.
Yeah. Well, if people can go on TikTok and ask people to help them find a size 19 shoe for their son, you can share this.
Mm.
Oh, absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And I'll put it out there even more so I know.
Yeah.
So
we just hope, obviously, sooner than later.
I don't know why I said that.
She
I
picked-
just saw it.
Did you saw what?
A woman asking for TikTok's help because her son is
I think he's 12.
11 or something, and he wears a size 19, and they need to find him a cleat for football.
Not basketball?
No.
So if people can go on there and do that and help, then they can do this and help share.
My guys in Arizona that we've had on the podcast,
Yeah.
they are spreading it too. They're really like, as soon as I told them, Hedda was like, I got you. Like,
Yeah.
don't even trip. Send me
I think I
clips,
saw
pictures.
something with them.
Yeah, they're very much like, and he's the one that's kind of educated me and said, it's really bad. And him being a recovering addict is
Mhm.
like, I don't care. Like, this is a human being. She's a beautiful girl. Let's
Yeah.
spread
Right.
the word. So the two of them are spreading it everywhere. So we're trying to get as many people as possible. You have to make noise. You have to jump up and down and scream. I know she's getting ready to go back to Texas pretty soon to once again, do what she can do. But Texas is bigger than I even realized.
Oh, yeah.
And she's like, there's only so much I can do. So that's why she's hired these search and rescue teams because they know what they're doing there.
Yeah.
And I said, one way or another, we just hope to God that she comes home.
Yeah.
All right, Solomon, we are gonna
All right.
head out on this one. Thank you
Okay.
guys so much. This was a heavy topic. Like it's such an ugly one too. Like no woman, father, mother, man should ever have to go looking for their child like this.
Right.
It's just heart-wrenching. Please follow us on YouTube, Instagram, Apple Podcasts, Spotify.
And anybody that follows us on TikTok, feel free. All you have to do is hit repost, share, and repost. It'll just keep the algorithm going for the search of her, and I will do a better point because I know a lot of people in Texas too as well via TikTok. So I will make
that's
sure
right, your friend. Please share it with her.
I will definitely get that word out.
All right. Thank you. And until next time, bye.
Okay, bye.